It's horrible when your cats are fighting, isn't it? We worry about them both and we want them to be happy. And there's a heavy dose of guilt that comes with putting two cats together that we know aren't getting along. But how do you know whether to persevere and to help them get along, or whether it's time to rehome them? So that's what I'm here to help you with today. So let's get started. So I tend to look at three different areas when we're deciding if rehoming is best. The first one is the cat's safety. So if you have cats that are attacking each other on sight, or there's any injuries, so they're drawing blood or leaving any marks, or if the cats are peeing or pooing during the fighting, then I would say these are all big warning signs that your cat's not actually very safe and it could result in something that's going to seriously hurt one or both cats. As well as their physical safety, these sorts of interactions are super, super stressful as well. So it may only be just a quick fight that's over in a matter of moments, but that cat's stress levels are going to be through the roof. So, as well as their physical health, we need to give thought to their mental well-being as well. So these sorts of fights are not something we want to continue with long term. And these cats need separating immediately. So lots of times I go to people's houses and this is the point where they're at. Like they've mixed their cats or their cats have had a big fight and they can't be in the same room again without fighting. So it's good to separate them, make sure each cat is happy in their own area. And then we want to move forward with a gradual introduction. It's important that when they meet again, there's no risk of any fighting. So they need to meet through a barrier that could be like a baby gate, make sure they can't jump up or go through. It could be a glass door, it could be a pet gate or like a fly screen. They work pretty well. So what this will do is just give you an opportunity to gauge their behavior when they can see each other, but they can't interact. So this is super important. And in this scenario, if you're still seeing aggressive behavior, so like noisy fights or like noise around the barrier, so they're trying to get to the other one, you might notice hissing, growling, that caterwauly horrible noise that they make. If you're still seeing these sorts of behaviors, then I would argue that actually it's probably too stressful to continue with the introduction. And it can be really, really challenging to get them together again. It's not impossible, but in all honesty, the likelihood of them being friends again or friends at all is very, very low. You might be able to use medication for the short term to help soften that reaction and to help get started with the reintroductions, but this is definitely a conversation for your vet. It also helps to have someone on hand, like a behaviourist, to help you with this process, and there's no guarantee that it's going to make any difference and will help get the two on track. The second thing I consider in these scenarios is the chronic stress. So this is for cats that are not separated, they tend to live together, but you'll notice that the behaviour of one of the cats is super inhibited because if they try to come out, if they try to use the territory, if they try to have some food or have a wee, then another cat will chase them away. So you might not be seeing big fights or noisy fights or there's no injuries and it seems quite low level, but you'll notice that the cat that's being chased away, they can't live an ordinary life. They can't use the territory in a way that they want to, and they can't engage in normal behaviours like playing with you or sitting on your lap because they're worried that they're going to be chased away. On the flip side, the cat that's doing all the chasing and is often labelled as the dominant one, which I have beef with that, and I can link to that video up here. But that cat is also stressed because although it's the cat that is pursuing the other one and it's instigating all the aggression and it's being super annoying and bullying, if you like, then they still feel that stress because they feel like they have to do that in their territory. They feel like their territory needs to be patrolled and it needs to be managed and they need to chase this other cat off if that cat is trying to use the normal stuff in the territory. So both cats are suffering, even though one is super hiding and inhibited and the other one is super active and trying to patrol and trying to get rid of that first cat. So again, although you're not having those massive bursts of intense stress, this low level chronic stress is very bad for the cat's emotional well-being and does leave them open to physical illness. And we know what the impact of stress has on the immune system. So again, it's super important to make sure that our cats are not suffering in this way. And rehoming might be appropriate. So here I ask people, how will the behaviour of the cats change if the other one wasn't here? So look at that on both sides. So if the cat that's hiding away, if the bully cat was gone, how would their behaviour change? What you would probably see is that cat spending more time out in the open, hanging out with you more, and doing more cat things, and are able to have a fuller life. And for the cat that's doing all the patrolling and the bullying, that cat can also breathe a sigh of relief because they don't have to do that anymore. They don't have to keep one eye open to see if the first cat is coming into the room and trying to use the food or use a litter tray. So have a think about whether that might be the case for your cats and how their lives would be different if they didn't have each other. To help these cats, because they're already together, I don't normally find any benefit of separating them and reintroducing them. Normally, you'll just end up with exactly the same situation you had before you separated them. So instead, we focus more on territory setup to make sure that wherever the cats are, they do have everything that they need. They can use the territory without having to cross paths unnecessarily, and there's no competition for things. So we don't want both cats fighting over the same bed or fighting at the food bowl because there's one food bowl to go around or one feeding area to go around. So have a look at your territory from your cat's point of view. I have a longer video of this at the end, which I'll link to. But if you can't get on top of it, if you feel like you've tried absolutely everything and there's nothing more you can do to help them get along, then rehoming might be best for everybody. And the last thing is just to make sure that you're okay. And there's no judgment here. Like, it's hard to live with cats that fight. It's hard to live with cats that you have to keep separate and have to juggle your time between both sides. And slipping through the door without your cat tailgating you through, it's really difficult. Also, the process of reintroducing them is hard. It's stressful for you, it's time consuming. You might have to separate your house up and change things to make it work. That isn't practical going forward. And these are all valid considerations. So your well-being needs to be taken into account too. It's not something that we can disregard, and it is super important. I do understand people that refuse to rehome and say under no circumstances would they rehome their cat anywhere. However, what I do find here is that sometimes it means that cats can be kept in situations where they're really unhappy, and that's that forever, when actually they might be happier in a different home. So sometimes rehoming, although it's really, really hard, and I know the rescues are full and it's hard to find the right home for every cat, but often rehoming can be best for both cats and yourself. So please don't feel guilty if you go down that route, because I know you would have tried everything and I know it's not easy. Tell me about your cats in the comments. I hope that they're okay and that you guys are okay at home too, and I will catch you next time for another video. Take care. Bye.